Hello. It is almost 2 o'clock on Sunday and I am going to try and go for a quick run. I'm thinking sort of 3 kilometers, just over 20 minutes, and that's it, but we'll see how I feel. I've just sped walked home and my legs are already tired and I'm out of breath from that, so we'll see. But just going. I haven't run in too long, and I just want to know that I can. I also have 2 bags of laundry that I need to put on, and we already had 2 loads of laundry that we put on, I think it was on Friday morning, so I don't know how this has happened. We did do our bedding, so that's always a big one, but still. But currently one of the laundry machines is in use, so I'm just going to put one on for now, go for my run, see if the second one is ready by the time I get back, or otherwise later on. It's fine. It's not that urgent, at least not for me, so hopefully it'll be okay. I am not in the mood to run, but I've got to do it. So I'm quickly going to get changed and then just go before I lose the motivation or the daylight. I will let you know after. Okay, I did it. Just over 3 kilometers in, I think, about 22 minutes, I think. I will sit down and check everything once I've cooled down a little bit, showered, breathed, had some water, had some food, all of that. Yay. But I did it, I did it. Hello, we've got a head covering because my hair is gross, so we're just gonna accept that. It's giving fiddler, I feel, but that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I started off really strong. I didn't warm up, which is not healthy, but I didn't. I did walk a little bit before starting to run, but I started off and I could feel that I was going fast and I knew that that was a bad idea, but I felt so strong, so it was going well until I got to just under 1 kilometer and I was like, oh, actually this is hard. And then when I got to 1, I had kind of said to myself, right, we're just gonna go for 2. And then, you know, we don't need to get to 3 without stopping. I want to get to 3 full stop. But if I need to walk the last kilometer, that's fine. And sort of the feel of the run really varied, I feel. There were moments where it did feel really good and relatively easy. And then other moments where I was like, I am dying. And I did have it wasn't quite a stitch, I wouldn't call it that, but it was similar, again, on the right side of my stomach, and it just wasn't a nice feeling. But in the end, I pushed through to 2.5 kilometers without stopping. Then I walked 250 meters and then I ran the rest. Well, I ran until 3 kilometers and then I think my overall run was 3.1. So I walked the last 0.1 kilometers. But let's see what the speeds were. So yeah, it was exactly 3.1 kilometers and the tempo was 7:16, which actually, yes, it was a shorter run, but 7:16 is very average, I think, for what I was doing during my half marathon training. So to have not run in almost 2 months, that's how long it's been, to still be able to come back and do, first of all, 2.5 kilometers without stopping and at the same pace, that feels good. And I know 2.5 kilometers isn't that far, and obviously, you know, I did so much more, but every time I've come back from a break, and especially when I started running the very first time, that was hard. Even getting to 1 kilometer was a struggle, so I'll take it. So the first kilometer was 6:43, the second was 6:29, and then the third was 7:58. But there's actually a lot of 5s in my first, high 5s, but still 5s in the first 500 meters, which is cool. There's the graph for anyone curious. And then there was one bit where I was sprinting uphill, and according to this, it was 3:44, which is crazy because that was uphill. I mean, it wasn't very long. It was probably 100 meters, maybe even less, but still. So yeah, I feel good about that. I'm happy. I'm really glad that I at least went for a run. And the truth is, what I'd done was I'd planned to go for a run this morning. I made sure that I was as dressed as possible so there was the least amount to change, and that what I did need to change was already out and ready for me to put on. And also, obviously, I didn't warm up, which is not advised, but it did help with just getting out. And so getting out was easy. And then once you're out, even though the running is hard or can get hard, you know, at certain points, I do find it very easy to convince myself that if I take a break to walk, I can then start running again. And obviously at the moment, I don't necessarily have a goal that I'm working towards. But I know with the 10K and with the half marathon that's often how I got those longer distances, was by just staying outside, forcing myself to stay outside. Not even forcing myself, just knowing that if I stayed outside, eventually I would start running again. But yeah, look, I don't know how frequent running is going to be, especially, you know, the next few weeks. There's so much on. I have so little time and there is so little daylight. And it's obviously not a priority for me. But at least I know that I can do it even with the shorter days. And look, it's still light out, so it's fine. That is all. I've just got a message, so I need to respond to that because it's interesting. And I think I need to go. very soon, which is unexpected. So I'm gonna go. Bye! Okay, so I went to where I needed to go, and now it is past 11 o'clock and I am home. I am tired. It was a good day, but I am tired. But I just wanted to come on here. First of all, I need to remember tomorrow because I want to look at my first run back. Do you know what? We'll just do it now. Is my phone there? Okay, so what I want to check is if my first run back after the, month off or 2 months off that I took before starting training for the half marathon was similar or different to what I did today. Oh, that was my 30th activity. That's crazy. As if I only did 30 runs leading up to the half marathon. Less than that. Or at least like in that training block. Okay, 6th of April, which would have been my first run back after the 10K, which I think was on the 23rd of February, so that's 6 weeks. This is slightly longer. That was 2.91 kilometers, so slightly less, but it was 6:55 per kilometer, so slightly faster. So very comparable, I think. But then the second reason why I wanted to talk to you was to show you my outfit, because I went so rogue. I left in such a panic that I didn't have time to think about what I was going to wear. And what I threw on is basically what I did with this outfit during my festive outfits video last year, which I made at that time, a year ago, and then never followed through on, never actually made an outfit from, because this I usually wear with a black or white long sleeve and leggings underneath. But today, I've put this on. I've got my tights on, my purple, oh, there's shoes there, purple reddish tights. I've got the flowery necklace that goes well with colours and in terms of flowers, and my blue and purple, or whatever you want to call them, pink earrings. And it's very not me, I feel, and yet it does also feel very me, and I do really like it. So I like that in my panic, this is what I went for, and hopefully that means I will choose to wear this again. It's nice when I actually do something that I say I'm hypothetically maybe gonna do one day. Anyway, that's all. I want to go to bed, so that's where I will leave you for tonight, and I will see you whenever I see you next. Yay! Hello. I've just come in from work. I finished early, which was nice. It's still like vaguely light out, and I've done some shopping. We're gonna do spaghetti bolognese tonight, and Wayne's gonna be home early by his standards, which is really nice. I had a pretty chill day at work, but I feel really flat. I feel hungry, I feel tired, not tired, but like lethargic. I don't know, I don't feel good in myself. I've just opened the window because I'm quite warm, and I've bought some apples, and I'm gonna have an apple with Biscoff just to like give me some healthy energy. I think I've not been eating a lot of, fruits or vegetables recently, so I think I need that. But my first 3 tasks, now that I've walked in, number 1, well actually in no particular order, water the flowers and like change the water. I actually forgot about eating the apple, but that's like definitely one of the 4 tasks then. Put away the shopping, the things that need to go in the fridge, and then do something for work. Those are the 4 things I want to do before then like relaxing a little bit. I do have a long list of things I want to get done in the evenings this week, but it's all very, chill. Like none of it is a big task or anything. In fact, I achieved some of my big tasks today at work, so that's nice. Except this book. I think maybe this book is not helping because it's just it's not even like a bad book. It is interesting. It's just so long and like finding the motivation to read it. But anyway, I need some water. I need to eat. I need to breathe. And I'll maybe see you later when I'm making the bolognese. We'll see. Depends a little bit what time I get things done and what time Wayne gets home. Hello. I've come home. Again, I finished work early, but I don't feel, again, I think because it's dark, it doesn't feel like I got home that much earlier. It was only half an hour earlier as opposed to yesterday, which was an hour and a quarter, which was lovely. And because yesterday I finished before 4, I took the tube because it was off peak. And so my journey home was even quicker. So today it's definitely not the same. Yesterday, literally almost a minute after I finished filming that clip, the one where I mentioned about like waiting to see what Wayne's gonna do, he came home. He had a very quick journey home yesterday, which was really nice. So we ended up having a pretty chill evening, watched some stuff, ate some good food, and well, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but I really struggle. Sorry, I'm trying to get my pasta in the pot because it's spaghetti, well, it's linguine, but I'm trying not to break it. And I'm also trying not to burn my hands, so I'm gonna grab this. So I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, but I really struggle to think of meals. I never want it to be too complicated after work. Even though I did have a longer day yesterday to cook, I want it to be simple. I want it to be easy. I want it to be, something that I know I can execute because I am not a chef, and something that you don't need too many pots and pans and dishes for because we don't have the space. On that note, if you have any recommendations, please let me know. Oh, this is boiling too hard. Oh, Alexa, set a timer for 9 minutes, please. And I was trying to think what we were gonna have while I was at work, and I don't know why, but I just had this feeling of I want mince or spaghetti bolognese. Like, I just want something hearty and warm and just like, And so I went for it. I just like threw some things in, didn't follow a recipe, and regretted that. It took longer than I wanted it to, but like not by too much, so actually that was okay. It was a lot more watery than I wanted it to be, and then when we were eating it, it just didn't have the flavour or the comfort that I was hoping it would. And it's so frustrating. It really upsets me because I ended up spending an hour cooking, and it shouldn't take that long, and it shouldn't be such a rubbish result, especially for something that is so simple. I did add Marmite to the leftovers, which I didn't do for the rest, but I actually think that probably makes a difference. But I added so many spices and so much flavour. I tried, and it's just, it's so frustrating. But anyway, we're gonna have leftovers tonight, we just didn't have enough pasta, which is why that's on now. But yes, I've come home, I have had my apple and Biscoff. I do think it is, well, what I had yesterday, I think that was to do with food. I feel like I ate better today. Although I do also think, usually where I work, I keep the door open, and that gives you a little bit of, I wouldn't quite say fresh air, but like airflow. And yesterday and today I kept the door shut, which I do like. I like just having my own space and everything. But as I was leaving, I was like, actually, that might also be a big contributing factor. I'm still not feeling as like enthusiastic as I was last week, but that's fine. Like that happens. You have highs and lows, and that's okay. But I'm doing fine, and I've got a really fun week next week, so I'm looking forward to that. I think that's everything I wanted to update you on, at least for the time being. So I will either see you later tonight, or I will see you tomorrow, or another night, or another day. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not awkward. Hello. I'm tired. It feels like it's been a long week. It hasn't actually, it hasn't. I've done a couple of extra hours yesterday, but it's not crazy. I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling tired. I actually do think I know what it is. There's been a lot on my mind because of something that's happening next week and the week after. A really fun and exciting thing, but it's just caused me a little bit of stress with work, and it's fine. It's just not allowed me to fully relax. I stayed in my work clothes today, as opposed to just getting straight into pyjamas, which I usually do, because I thought Wayne might want me to go somewhere with him, and he didn't, or at least he didn't say that he did. So I'm gonna get into pajamas because I'm actually quite uncomfortable. I'm wearing jeans, and that's definitely not my preferred trouser, shall we say. Generally speaking, I feel it's weird. I feel like I'm busy with a bunch of things, but also not at all. And maybe that's also what's causing the tiredness, is like I've actually not got that much to do when I get home. But equally I do. So I don't know, I'm just feeling a bit funny, a bit out of place. But that being said, like this is, I would say, my last week of normalcy until December. The next 2 weeks are gonna be mental. Good mental, I think, I hope. But just like full on, and there's a lot of changes happening in my schedule, and just, I mean, all fun things, all really nice things. But just like a lot, and a lot of working. I think it's going to be a lot of long days. I could be mistaken. But I think from this Sunday, I think that's when it's going to begin, and it's just going to be intense. I am feeling quite tired. I haven't eaten yet. I've even got a bit of a headache. That's probably just from staring at screens, 24/7. I've been managing my food a little bit better. I think I mentioned on Monday, I think it was, that I was just feeling a bit funny, and I don't know if I've mentioned it a few times already about food just not feeling quite right at the moment, and I've been trying to manage that a little bit, and that has helped. I still don't feel like I'm quite where I want to be, but I'm definitely in a better place, so that is good. I just feel, I don't know, I went to bed early yesterday as well. I think I went to bed before 11. I did wake up a number of times, admittedly, but I don't know, I shouldn't be this tired at 7:30. But I'm gonna get into pajamas, I'm gonna brush my hair. These aren't the same plaits as you've seen the last week. It's just I keep putting it back into plaits because it's really working for me at the moment. But I am gonna take them out and just let the hair relax for a little bit. And then I need to learn some lines for something. You can probably piece together what's going on, but yeah. Gotta learn some lines and organize folders and stuff, and then eat and chill, hopefully. My hair actually feels really long, which is crazy. It's actually, it was quite recent that I had a haircut. And usually, I think because usually I cut my own hair and I go higher than I should. And this time they obviously did quite a good job at not cutting too much off. And so it's actually like growing back, and it's longer than I would expect at this period after a haircut. That being said, I actually have no sense of time. So it could be that it's been like 6 months since I had the haircut. I can't remember. I didn't really need to chat to you now, but I feel like I haven't spoken to you in the last couple of days, so I just wanted to give you a little update, tell you where I'm at. And yeah, I probably won't see you tomorrow. I won't see you probably on Saturday. I may see you Sunday, but I've got a very, very, very busy day on Sunday, so I may not. And then the week of madness begins. The 2 weeks of madness, the fortnight of madness. I think I'm exaggerating it, but it is going to be complex. Complexer than usual. Okay, bye! Hello. I didn't have a chance to speak to you yesterday because I stayed on a bit at work. Then I came home, immediately filmed a video for Vlognica, my first one, and then Shabbat started, and that was it. So I'm going to chat to you now, give you a little bit of an update of the week, and also a little bit of a hint of what's happening tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm expecting to be a very busy day, and then I'm going to go and get into pajamas and do some other things because I offered to work tonight. And yeah, we'll see. Also, I just want to give a shout out. This is the jewellery I also wore yesterday, so it will be in the Vlognica video, but it's so much more out there than I usually go in terms of jewellery. It feels very loud. It probably isn't by like loud standards, but by my standards it's very loud. But I actually really like it. I kind of just threw it on. This morning was one of those mornings where it was just like not thinking about what I'm wearing and I'm just going for it. And I don't know what compels me to take these earrings and this necklace. I do know this necklace. That was because I've been missing my parents a lot. I'll talk about that as well. But yeah, and my father got me this necklace, so I just wanted that, and the colour matched. But yeah, the earrings, no idea why I went for these instead of other blue ones that I have, but I did, and actually I'm very happy about it. And I got a few compliments, so that was nice. Now on to everything else. Let me actually start with my parents, because that's like, the rest will be chronological and otherwise I'll forget. I'm not gonna like go into too much because obviously like it's personal, but basically I've just really been missing my parents in the last, I would say, 36 hours. I mean, I always miss them. I really, really, really hate living away from them, and it's something that I definitely struggle with on the daily, but there are some days obviously where it just hits you harder, and it's not like anything specific happened. I did have a dream to do with them, so maybe that's why like it started up, but yeah, I've really been feeling it. And I think the thing as well, and I will speak about this in one of my Vlognica videos for resolutions, this year I've had the treat of seeing my father 3 times, which has been very lovely, very special, and I'm very grateful for that. However, I've only seen my mum once, and that's not enough, I've decided. And it was in the middle of the year, like it was in June, so at least it was balanced, I guess. And in fact, thinking about it, like it's gonna probably be perfectly halfway between when I last saw her and when I'll next see her. So, you know, in a way that's good. But it's only been, what, 3 months, 4 months since June? What month are we in? Oh, I guess it's been 5 months, wow. But still, like it's not been, you know, 8 months, 9 months, a year. And yet I'm just really feeling very strongly that I miss her. I mean, I miss both my parents, but I'm really not happy about the fact that I've only seen her once this year. I'm not happy about it. So yeah, that's been on my mind. And it's not like stopped me from being able to enjoy, you know, being in London and what's going on in my life. But it's there. And it's making me even more keen to book my flight to Australia, because we've been talking about it a lot, up in the air, and really there's no reason to not book. There's just always like a hesitation because I go for such a long time, and I'm just very conscious of what I might miss out on by committing to being a month away. But equally, I know how special it is when I do get that month with my family, so I know I just need to bite the bullet, and I'm going to talk to my parents about it, hopefully either tonight or tomorrow morning. So that's that. And then just reflecting on the week, it's been a busy week. I think I have come on a couple of times just to say it's busy, I'm tired, yay. And also the fact that there's not really a reason why. I don't know, but I got home yesterday, filmed that video, and then when Shabbat started, I had a nap. I never have a nap, but I was just so tired. I say I never have a nap, but I feel like in the last year or so, I've definitely had more naps than ever before. And that is just because sometimes I am putting a little bit too much on myself. And it all just stems from wanting to please everyone, being a bit of a workaholic, liking money, you know, all these things. Not wanting to let people down, all that. But anyway, the next 2 weeks, I still don't want to go into too much detail, but I alluded to an email a couple of weeks ago. Actually, before that, I alluded to something else that I definitely didn't want to go into too much detail at the time about, but it was to do with doing an audition for something around Yom Kippur, and I just thought that was a little bit cheeky. But suffice it to say, I got the role. Yay! And then I got the email that confirmed I got the role, which was very exciting, especially because it had reached the point where I was like, right, I've not got it. And that happens in the performing arts industry. Very often you do not get told if you don't get a role, so, or even, you know, the next round or anything like that. So usually you either give yourself like a threshold, or sometimes they make it very clear because they say, you know, the callbacks will be on this date, or we're going to start rehearsing or performing on this date. And so you know, like, okay, if I haven't heard back by that date, I haven't got it. And that's kind of what happened in this situation. So then when I got an email saying update, and then it had the sort of project name, I was like, oh, they are letting me know. That's quite nice of them. You know, it's a shame that it's, you know, a no, but nice of them to let me know. I open it and it says congratulations. And I was just like, what? I was at work and I went, oh my goodness, put my phone down, stood up and just like did a circle in my office because I did not know what to do with myself. So that's very exciting. And initially they wanted me for 2 days. It's a short project. My battery's gonna die. It's fine. Can you hear that fireworks? That's mental. What is going on? Let me talk about the rest. Let me change my battery first so I don't get like stopped halfway through. Okay, so they were just gonna ask me for 2 days of filming, and that was theoretically fine. I did need to work around with work, which was a little bit more complicated than I wanted it to be. And it was at a moment like that where I was like, I should not be working full-time between the two jobs. The whole point initially was for me to do part-time work, and that's what it started off as. And then I picked up the second job, which was also part-time, but together I'm actually doing more than full-time. I think across the two, I'm doing something like 41, 42 hours. And that then makes it very hard to wiggle any space free for performing work, which at the end of the day is like my number one goal. But we made it work, and I was feeling, you know, it wasn't nice to put my jobs in these positions, but we made it work and it was fine. And then I think it was on either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, I got an email saying, actually, can you do 3 dates? And so I had to go back into work being like, can we do this instead? And then later on Wednesday, I got another email saying, actually, can you do 4 dates? Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. It was Wednesday morning that I got the 3 dates, and then Thursday I got the email saying, can we do 4 dates? And it's great because the reason why they want more dates is because they want me to do more, and obviously that's a really good sign and I'm happy about that. But with such last minute notice, and especially one of them, the one I got notified about on Wednesday was for Sunday, this Sunday, like tomorrow. And anyway, that's not a lot of notice, you know, 4 days. But on top of that, trying to get weekend cover when I'm the one who usually does the weekends is really hard. Now, I have to say, I have a lot of respect for my boss. This is the job that I mentioned to you guys months ago that I got, but when I went into the interview, I made it very clear that acting's my priority. I'm doing this, you know, to help out, if you will, and in the meantime, but if acting comes up, it could be quite last minute, and I'm always going to prioritize it. And it's one thing to say that, and then, you know, to still be given the job, which already is nice, but then it's another thing for that to happen in actuality, and for the team to be faced with it. And I have a lot of respect for my boss because he's the one who's going to cover Sunday, and, you know, he's doing that out of his own free time, basically. So I really admire that and I really respect that, and I'm very, very, very grateful for it, because many other people would have just said, well, too bad, you're working that day. And it's been made even harder because my colleague, who usually would cover things like this, is away on holiday, so that's not ideal. But in the end, between everything, we've made it work for those 4 days. I sincerely hope that nothing else changes at this point, but yeah, it's a lot of moving around, and just like I'm really looking forward to filming, and I don't want this to I don't want to be stressing about work when I'm doing what I actually want to be doing, which is, you know, performing. So I don't want to wish it away, but equally I feel like I'll be able to breathe a little bit once the 2 weeks are up, because then again things go back to normal, and like I won't be stressing about being at the right place at the right time and like learning the lines and everything. Although, like, again, I don't want to take away from the experience because I'm so grateful for it and I want to enjoy it and I want to be present. So, as I've already mentioned, the first day is tomorrow and I'm nervous, I'm excited. I feel prepared in terms of the lines. I feel very prepared. Tomorrow's going to be a short day. I've only got to say a couple of lines, so I'm not so worried about that. I have also already, they've asked me to prepare 3 outfit changes. So I've prepared multiple and, you know, brought multiple options. I've got them ready in a bag. That's fine. I do want to make sure that everything is laid out, like the clothes that I'm actually going to wear when I'm going, because I've now currently just got everything in the bag, but obviously I'll be wearing one outfit. I want to have that ready. I want to have my jewellery ready. I think I'm probably gonna like put the Dahlia Care stuff on my face. I want to probably some makeup, minimal, but some. So I want to have that all ready just so that in the morning when I wake up, we're ready to go. Also, I think I'm going to put my hair back into the 2 plaits because it needs to be consistent across the 4 days, and curly hair is really hard to keep consistent across 4 days over 2 weeks. So I think plaits is like the easiest way to make it look seamless. So that's what's going on currently in my brain. But on top of that, as I said, I've been asked to work tonight, so that is priority number 1. And I'm going to get started on that very soon. And then I think once I finish working, I'm going to do that for 2 hours. Then I will hopefully have some supper, and then we'll see what else I do. Shabbat has been out about an hour and a half, and since then I've been editing the video, the first Vlognica video, and that is currently saving, so I will try and watch that as well and get it uploaded and ready to go, which will be great. I always find something like Vlognica or any of these series that I do quite daunting when I start, because I know it's such a big project. But once I do the first one, everything always feels easier after that. So I've done the first one, hopefully very soon, and then we can carry on with filming the stuff so that we're not stressed December time. I think that is everything for today. Oh, and then, I haven't even mentioned about tomorrow. So I'm filming, supposedly, from about 9 to 12, supposedly. And it's about an hour away from one of my jobs. So I'm gonna go straight from there, hopefully, to one of my jobs, stay at that job, and I think until about 2:30. Then I'm gonna come home, hopefully, and then, this is all hopefully, everything is hopefully, and then I'm gonna go to my second job around 4:15, maybe. They've asked me, it's weird, I was meant to work from 4, and then they sent an email saying, can you actually start at 4? Well, they didn't even ask, can you start at 4:30? They just said, from 4:30 till 5:30, you're going to be doing this. But it very much implied, like, try and get there for 4:30. So that's a little bit confusing. But then I told them, if this filming thing runs on, I might be late. Now, obviously, I'm hoping that it won't be that late and that everything will be okay. But I did give them sort of the heads up to say, I'll do my best to get there on time, but who knows? So yeah, we'll see. And then I'm there until 9, and then I come home. And I'm hoping Wayne should be home, you know, reasonably early tomorrow, which is nice. So I'm hoping, if I'm not too tired, that we can do something, you know, watch something together. There's so much happening, because I was just thinking, like, not just do I have all of this happening over the next 2 weeks. On Tuesday, I'm going to see Wendy and Peter Pan with Wayne and a friend, which I'm very excited for. And then next Sunday, we're going to a Wicked experience in Westfield, and then also going to see the second Wicked movie, which is very exciting as well. And then that's next week, my grandparents will be here. And there's loads of, actually, oh my gosh, no, hang on. This Thursday, I've also got something with work. We're doing like a work social event. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and then the week after, on Wednesday, my grandparents arrive, and we're hoping to do something together Wednesday night. Thursday, after work, we're also doing something together. Friday is going to be like my one chill day, and then Saturday we've got a family bat mitzvah, which means that, you know, it'll be really fun, but we'll be going to shul and stuff, and same with Sunday night, that the party of the bat mitzvah is happening. So literally until December 1st, things are mad. But I'll take you along with what I can. Obviously a lot of the family things I won't be able to share, and a lot of the filming things I won't be able to share, so there actually might not be that much for you to see, but I'll try and speak to you about it anyway. And obviously like the theatre and Wicked and stuff I'll bring you with. But yeah, busy. And then it'll be December 1st, like that's just mental. Mental! I can't believe I've spoken for 10 minutes and this is the new battery. So I've obviously chatted to you for quite a while. I need to go, but I will speak to you as and when, who knows, but I will. All right, yay.